A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant escalation of tensions in the Middle East, Israeli officials have revealed that a portion of Iran's underground stockpile of near-bomb-grade enriched uranium has survived recent American and Israeli military strikes. This alarming development raises concerns about Iran's nuclear capabilities and the potential for further military action in the region. According to a senior Israeli official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity due to the sensitive nature of the information, Israel has been closely monitoring Iran's nuclear activities and has concluded that some of the enriched uranium may still be accessible to Iranian nuclear engineers. The official indicated that Israel began preparing for military action against Iran late last year, driven by what they described as a race by Iran to develop nuclear weapons as part of a secret project. This revelation comes on the heels of a series of Israeli airstrikes targeting Iran's nuclear facilities, particularly the Isfahan facility, which has reportedly sustained extensive damage. Following the assassination of Hassan Nasrallah, the longtime leader of Hezbollah, an Iran-backed militia in Lebanon, Israeli intelligence detected increased nuclear weapons activity. This prompted Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to consider military action, with or without the support of the United States. In mid-June, Israel launched a coordinated attack on Iran, which was later joined by the U.S. military, utilizing 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs and submarine-launched Tomahawk missiles to target critical enrichment sites. Despite these aggressive actions, U.S. intelligence officials have stated that they have not observed any definitive moves by Iran to weaponize its stockpile of near-bomb-grade uranium. In interviews conducted earlier this year, American officials expressed skepticism about Iran's intentions, asserting that there was no evidence of an imminent rush to develop a nuclear weapon. However, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, acknowledged in congressional testimony that while Iran had not made a definitive decision to build a weapon, there were signs of a nascent effort to explore faster and cruder methods of nuclear weaponization. In a recent briefing for reporters, the Israeli official downplayed concerns about the survival of the 60% enriched uranium stockpile, stating that any attempts by Iran to recover the material would likely be detected, allowing for subsequent military action if necessary. Western intelligence officials corroborated the Israeli assessment, indicating that much of the stockpile remains buried under rubble at Iran's nuclear laboratory in Isfahan and potentially other locations. They concurred that any Iranian efforts to retrieve the enriched uranium would invite renewed Israeli airstrikes. The consensus among Israeli and U.S. intelligence is that Iran's working centrifuges at Natanz and Fordo, approximately 18,000 machines, have been damaged or destroyed, likely beyond repair. Analysts are now examining how long it might take Iran to rebuild its nuclear capabilities, especially given the targeting of key scientists in their nuclear program. Former President Donald Trump has consistently maintained that the Iranian nuclear program was effectively obliterated following the military strikes, asserting that Iranian leaders have lost interest in developing nuclear weapons. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth echoed this sentiment, stating that the bombing left critical fuel and equipment buried under a mountain, rendering it devastated and obliterated. The U.S. administration has remained steadfast in its belief that Operation Midnight Hammer has significantly hindered Iran's nuclear ambitions. However, the situation remains fluid, with Iran expelling IAEA inspectors and disabling monitoring devices, effectively cutting off international oversight of its nuclear activities. This has left the International Atomic Energy Agency, a UN body, in a state of uncertainty regarding Iran's nuclear program. Experts warn that Iran may now disperse its nuclear efforts across the country, utilizing smaller workshops to evade detection. Ray Takey, an Iran scholar at the Council on Foreign Relations, predicts that the next phase of Iranian proliferation will involve a more clandestine approach, making it increasingly challenging for Israel and the U.S. to monitor and respond to Iran's nuclear activities. The recent military strikes have demonstrated that even deeply buried facilities can be vulnerable to aerial attacks, leading to a potential shift in Iran's nuclear strategy. As tensions continue to escalate, the international community watches closely, aware that any miscalculation could lead to further conflict in an already volatile region. The situation remains precarious, with the balance of power in the Middle East hanging in the balance as Israel and Iran navigate this high-stakes game of nuclear brinkmanship. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.